Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the
republic
which
stands
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and then our mission statement will come up. Kiwanis is a global organization
of volunteers dedicated to growth through service to others.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and so let's talk a little bit with invocation. John Cully.
You'll let us pray. Almighty God, you proclaim your truth in every age by many voices. Direct in our time, we pray, those who speak where many listen and write what many read, that they may do their part in making the heart of this people wise, its mind sound, and its will righteous. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, John. We've got no guests today. Scott's here, but we'll talk to him in just a few minutes. We've invited some other guests, but I think that's about all we have here today so far. Maybe some others will show up. Announcements. We were talking earlier, the COVID vaccine is open to those 65 and over. So I know a bunch of us are all going on Saturday the 13th. So I told my wife I got her a Valentine's Day present. So she's going to get her
free. A jab in the arm.
Well, I paid big money for that, right? Just to let you know where we're at in Indiana, the state reports as of yesterday, 611,000 people have received their first dose and 166,000 have been fully vaccinated. 53% of the first dose recipients are people 70 and over, but only about 11.4% of those fully vaccinated are 70 and over. So, they got to really, probably because they didn't start till late, but they got to get those people in that are fully vaccinated. As far as Montgomery County, they've got 2,665 people who have received the first dose and 468 who are fully vaccinated. That's as of yesterday. So that's good. Volunteer opportunities. February 12th, we're unloading the food trucks at Nourish. We do need about 4 more people. So if you can do it, let me know and or sign up on Portal Buzz. Okay. February 16th, we're packing the backpacks for Nourish. Everybody's signed up that we need. So we're doing good there. Jerry still needs speaker coordinators.
Yeah, I'm still looking for speaker coordinators for April and May, and not having gotten any volunteers. I'll take a little different tack today and ask that each one of you would contribute 1 program. So that means we need, for those 2 months, we need 9 programs. If each of you could go out and round up 1, email me with who the person would be, what their subject would be, and their contact information, and a date. There are, I think there's 4 or 5 Thursdays in April and 4 in July. But I'm not worried about the dates as much right now as just getting the people to do it. And then we'll, if we have to jockey them around a little bit, and I'm sure we will, why we can do that. But the main thing would be that, surely each of you knows somebody who could create an interesting program. And again, they don't have to be in Crawfordsville. They can be anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, as long as they got an internet connection. So let's take that tack and see if we can't get that pulled together. And I would appreciate your help. If you've got any questions, contact me after the meeting. And
Jerry, are we still going to be trying to get the high school seniors in May? So that'll be at least 1 program or 2.
Well, the date, I need dates in in April and July is what I don't have covered.
Oh, I thought you said May.
Somebody has agreed to do, I don't have the list in front of me, but somebody has agreed to do May already. Okay. And I would like to hope that we could get the high school seniors involved in some way, but that's up to Gary. Yeah,
I'm sure we can get that done.
Hey, Jerry, I have a question for you. So on Tuesday night, our meeting is Thursdays, but on Tuesday nights, I always attend Greenwood Kiwani's meeting and steal a lot of speakers from them. And if you can give me your email address, we're having a guy speak next week whose name is Fenway Park. And he's with Erskine Green Center. Let's see, it's Erskine Green Training Institute in Muncie. And they work with kids that have disabilities. And they built a hotel right off Muncie's campus. And the very first year they were open, Kiwanis had their district convention there at their hotel. And he's got a very interesting program. So I'll send you his information and he's going to Zoom for us. So he'd be a good one for you. All but right. I'll need, or I can actually send it to Mr. Coons too, and he can get it to you.
Send it to Dennis, and Dennis, if you would relay that to me. Thank you, Scott.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Scott. That's great. Yeah, we, you know, we've done that before where we steal from other clubs, but that's fine. I think we can all share the speakers to get the same information out to everybody. That's great.
Absolutely.
And at some point, I would still like to see Dennis's presentation of the restoration of the TR6.
Yeah.
I've got it available.
Good. Well, that's another speaker, another one filled. Scholarships, we've sent the applications out to everybody. We do have one that's come back so far. So we're waiting on more. If you know of any seniors in high school in our area or in one of our 3 schools, let them know about the scholarship program so we can get them into it. As we said before, Sharon has announced her retirement as club treasurer at the end of this term. So we do need somebody to be treasurer. Now I know some of you, some of you have recently retired and might be interested in doing that. We'd love to have you as the treasurer. So let us know. We can set that up. Sharon's willing to train you and get you going here, but we want to do it right away so we can you know, get this so Caleb has a treasurer when he starts as president in October. So like I said, I know that there's a few that have just retired on here, and so you know who you are. Also, one thing we're asking for, we're going to start on the billing for next quarter, asking for a voluntary contribution that is equivalent to what we had spent in the past on the meals. You know, our fundraising is way down. We don't have anything coming in, so we're just looking for some voluntary contributions. So we will be putting that on the bills next quarter, next 2 quarters. Just remember that it is a voluntary contribution, but we are asking for it. And if you're able to, you know, you can send it in now, send some to Sharon, and it's much appreciated. This
is Morris. What's the mailing address?
P.O. Box 611.
611?
Yes, 611.
Yeah.
In Crawfordsville, 47933. Thank you. And speaking of fundraising, we've got going here now. Caleb and his group has worked very, very hard on getting us back into Pancake Day, except he went over and above, and we're going to have Pancake Week. So y'all are going to be cooking pancakes for a whole week. No, we're going to work through McDonald's, And Caleb has that set up, and the dates are March 29th through April 3rd. So we won't have to be doing as much as we've done in the past. However, we do need to sell tickets. We will be putting tickets out to everybody as we've done in the past. There'll be 15 tickets in an envelope at $6 each. And we would hope that everybody contributes that amount either through sales or you purchase it yourself. Okay, so that's 15 at $6 each, and they'll be used at the McDonald's, at either of the two McDonald's that week, March 29th, April 3rd. Caleb, you have anything else on the pancake week?
The only other things we'll be really able to do, since we can't go and serve, we'll be asking as many people as can to essentially take a day, take a couple hours out of, we're going to try and figure out what day of the week we want to do. But for the next 2 months, hopefully we'll get a few days where we can be out in the drive-through area with a table, getting some excitement and selling some tickets. And then on the days of the actual pancake week, hopefully we'll have a couple hours of a Kiwanis presence there where people can be just out and about, be excited, and get people to buy some pancakes. So.
And, Pancake Day is usually our biggest fundraiser. We know that a club west of us in Danville, Illinois, they sold, what they have, they made about $20,000 on their pancake.
They sold 4,000, yeah.
24,000?
They sold 4,000.
Sold 4,000 tickets at $6 each, and then had a bunch of, and they had the people standing in line or in the drive-through and everything collecting. They had a lot of people that were just donating money, so that's good too. So we want to try to get that cooking. That, I think that'll be a great fundraiser for us.
If anybody has a sponsor or knows a sponsor or wants to find a sponsor, hit me up. I've got some literature if you want, or you can just say, my brother runs a business. I've already told him he's given us $250 or whatever you're going to do. So all sponsors are welcome.
Good.
So what do you get for $6?
So it's going to be 3 hot cakes. So the normal hot cake breakfast at McDonald's is 3 hot cakes and 1 sausage patty, and then it'll be a small drink. So orange juice, coffee, water, soda, no specialty drinks. But so it's and that's going to be the tough part. Is there might be some people saying, "Hey, how come I can't get all I can eat?" But sorry, just a little bit different this year. Yeah. You want more? Buy 2 tickets. So
yeah, buy a second ticket.
Yep.
And they remember it's a donation to the club.
Yeah.
So that's the important part, because of what we're doing. We're helping kids in the community. So we need to keep that up. Any other questions or anything on Pancake Day? The other thing to put into your calendar is October 23rd. October 23rd will be our bazaar, our holiday bazaar. We are planning it. At this point, we're going to work through and see how things evolve and exactly what we can do as we get closer. But we are going to make the reservations with the 4-H building so we can get that done. Member updates. We understand that let's say Dave Polly, he's still recuperating from a fall. He can only stay in one position for a max of about 15 minutes. So he's not doing well. He was on our board meeting last night and lasted about 10 to 15 minutes before he had to get off. He, as I said, he broke 3 ribs and punctured his lung. So he was in pretty bad shape. And so stay off the ice and let us know. Any other member updates? Okay, I do have one more that I found out about. We understand that Jerry is hooking up with that billionaire Jared Isaacson to see if he can go up in that SpaceX rocket later this year, right, Jerry?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, see, it only takes a small contribution to St. Jude, right?
I've already composed my my letter to him.
Good. There you go. So we're excited about that. We'll all be cheering you on, Jerry. Community involvement. We're not planning, as we said, any in-person meetings, of course, but we do have Pancake Week going on. So any other community things that we're doing at this point? Anybody can think of? Okay, let's go on to Happy Bucks. We did collect $313 in Happy Bucks for the first quarter for the Eliminate project. So thank you and congratulations. That's a good number. It's more than we estimated, more than we budgeted. So we're proud to present that check to Kiwanis International for the Eliminate project. Quarter two is Riley Hospital. So who's happy?
I'm very happy this morning. I'll throw $5 in. I was finally able to sell my mom's Yamaha baby grand piano that has been clogging up our living room for the last couple of 3 years. Found a professor of music down at IU through the Facebook Marketplace, and he's been looking for exactly like an instrument like this. And so we finalized the deal this morning. So I'm very, very pleased about that. And to know that it's going to be in a music-loving family, not sitting out on somebody's front porch or in a bar somewhere or something like that.
That's great. Who else is happy?
I'll give my $5 for.
I'll throw in 5 for Riley too.
For Riley, but I'm happy that my snowblower is working.
Yeah. And they're talking we may need it again in the next week, huh? So that's good. Who else?
I'll put 5 in for Riley.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it all. And
Caleb, what's the date for the Pancake Day?
Pancake Week, which will be March 29th through April 3rd.
Okay.
That's Pancake Week.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, so you're not going to Arizona or anything that week, right?
We would go, if I was going, we would go that Saturday, the 3rd. We'd leave the 3rd.
Okay. Well, we can use you all during the week.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Anybody else happy?
Morris Mills.
Yes, Morris.
$5 for Riley. They'd probably get my granddaughter alive one time on an emergency visit.
Thank you. Thank you. We know we got a lot of Riley families in Montgomery County, and it's really appreciated to be able to do this. We are going to put together a donation page too for Riley through Kiwanis that they're working on. So we're in the works of putting that thing together, and we'll let you know the information on that we can share that around the country and around the world. So let everybody know what we're doing with Riley, and people will be able to donate right on there. So that's.
I got a quick happy buck. Of course, it's always great to get my speaker online, and I lined up the rest of the month with some interesting folks. But I learned an important lesson. Just because I'm retired and I have time, there's some things I probably shouldn't do anymore. But I took my grandson's skiing Saturday, and I don't have the balance for that anymore. And I'm glad I didn't get hurt.
Good. Yeah.
They loved it, but I'm done skiing.
Where'd you go skiing?
Where did you go?
Perfect North in Lawrenceburg.
Okay.
They had a 40-inch base of snow, and it was really a beautiful day. A lot of people there, but I couldn't handle it.
But I'm sure the snow was very soft, right?
No.
Nice.
Well, good. Glad we got some other members on. Thank you. Anybody else happy? Okay. This day in history, February 4th, 1789, the first U.S. president or U.S. Electoral College chose George Washington as president and John Adams as vice president. 1849, I'm waiting for the music. University of Wisconsin begins in one room with 20 students and one badger. So figured we'd
You're
have.
all right.
Nice bathroom.
Yeah. 1969, John Madden is named head coach of the Oakland Raiders. 1971, the NASDAQ Stock Exchange is founded in New York City. Well, I didn't realize it was, just that little ago. But shortly thereafter, the short squeeze was started on Reddit. Hello there.
Hello.
How are you? 1974, Randolph Hearst's 19-year-old daughter, Patty Hearst, was kidnapped from her apartment in California. Remember who the kidnappers were?
Symbionese Liberation Army.
That's right. Very good. 1982, the indoor distance record for a paper airplane was recorded, 47 meters or 154 feet for a paper airplane. I can't get mine to go 3 feet.
I think I threw one the strand farther than that.
Yeah, see? 1984, Frank Aguilera sets the world Frisbee distance record. So he threw that 168 meters for a Frisbee. So that was pretty good. In 2004, Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook on this day. So that's just a short time ago. And in 2007 was Super Bowl 41, where the Indianapolis Colts beat the Chicago Bears. Okay, Shar.
Okay.
Ask me about that. It was only the second Super Bowl the Bears were in, but they won one and lost one. So national days, of course, today's Facebook's birthday. It's homemade soup day, and somebody makes a good pea soup that I had the other day. It was very good. National Hemp Day, National Stuffed Mushroom Day, and National Thank a Mailman Day. So I guess the mailman brings your hemp and your stuffed mushrooms.
Sometimes.
Birthdays, 1677, Johann Ludwig Bach was born.
Sebastian Bach.
It said, yeah, it is Sebastian Bach, but for whatever reason it said Johann Ludwig Bach. I don't know, Sebastian.
Maybe that was his brother.
Must be. Twin brother. 1902, Charles Lindbergh was born in Detroit. 1913, Rosa Parks was born in Tuskegee, Alabama. And 1947, Dan Quayle was born in Indianapolis. In 1962, Clint Black, the country singer, was born in Long Branch, New Jersey. Kiwanian birthdays this week. There was none on there for this week, but there is one. There is a special birthday on February 10th, 100th birthday for this club.
Wow.
So we will be celebrating that next Thursday. So make sure you're there and get everyone else to join us so we can really enjoy that day and celebrate the 100 years of service to our community. Dennis and Scott, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody and you guys can take it over. Dennis, you can introduce Scott and we'll go ahead, move forward. Dennis and Scott, you'll have to unmute yourself. Dennis, there you go.
I got it.
Yeah.
I wanted to introduce Scott Splichal. He's from North Dakota. Didn't go to Purdue, but we let him into pharmacy. He actually worked in Seaville at the old Super X at the mall. And he kind of went the route I did as far as kept changing companies, went from Hooks, I think, to CVS and got tired of them and probably enjoyed Kroger's and much more I did. He and his wife, Cindy, keep pretty busy volunteering. But the main thing is I've been to a few meetings at Kroger with Scott. And when he starts talking about Kiwanis, it just comes out like some preacher talking about saving the world. So it's great that he has enthusiasm. He's involved in a lot of things. He's going to talk about changing footprint. It's gathering shoes for people in need. And he may touch a few things that their Greenwood Club does and some of their fundraiser type things, because every time I've talked to him, he has all kinds of ideas that they've done and are successful at. So Scott, it's all you now.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I grew up in a little house on the prairie, and my wife's from Indianapolis. And the first time I took her home to meet my parents was at a Christmas early on in our relationship. And when we got home, it was minus 97 wind chill. And my mother could never understand why she never ever wanted to move there. And during the summers, it gets up over 100. So great place to be from. You know, you have to be pretty hardy stock to live up there. But went to school in Fargo. North Dakota has an ownership law because it's all small towns. And the law says that 51% of the store has to be owned by the pharmacist. And so that keeps chains out because the independent businessman would be, you know, gone. And most of the towns, they roll the streets up at 6 o'clock, and on Sundays, great family values. Everybody hangs out together, and the little town newspapers still talk about, well, Scott and Cindy went over to Dennis's house and they had meatloaf and mashed potatoes and played cards on Sunday. So they still do that. And so I ended up, my first year out of school, I was actually in Peoria and was supposed to move to Bloomington. And the day I was going to move to Bloomington, a guy who was going to Crawfordsville flunked the boards. I was so disappointed. I was going to a college town. It was going to be great. But I ended up in Crawfordsville for 9 months and had a great time. And then I've been in Indianapolis ever since. You know, Dennis talked about Kiwanis. Our club is pretty small. We have like 25 members, but for a small club, we really do a lot on the south side. We're Kiwanis of Perry Township. Most things that get done are because I lead it. Like Dennis said, I'm usually a forerunner for things, but I have pretty good ideas. And my idea was back when I joined the club was they wanted that we had a fish fry for 30 years, third weekend in July, and we'd make for Friday and Saturday, we'd net $15,000. But it got to be too much and the club was aging, and we just decided not to do it anymore. Great fundraiser. So we switched. My idea was switch to a golf outing. Well, what they wanted to do when I first joined is they wanted to have their fundraisers sit all year, listen to speakers and give money away. I said, well, what does it mean to be a community service organization? You know, you got to do the community service. So we've done a lot of things. We're pretty lucky because we have a YMCA close to us. So we do concessions at the spring and fall sports program for the kids. We do a key club at Southport High School. It's the largest one in the state. They have over 100 members and they're 98% Burmese kids. I'll tell you, these kids are amazing with the help that they give us all the time. Chili cook-off, which we're usually in now this time of year, but we're changing to the fall because of COVID. Ronald McDonald House, we serve breakfast there a couple times a year. Let's see, so our main outing is a golf outing, and we are having that. It's June 17th on the south side. And then we started a project in our school system. Any one day we have 300 kids that are homeless. So we started a project where we're collecting suitcases and duffel bags. And when the social work, we don't care who the kids are. We just want them taken care of. So there's 20 social workers in the school system. And when they find the kids that are in need, they'll make sure that they get a suitcase instead of putting their stuff in bags and Kroger bags and whatever. And we also supply them with toiletries and stuff like that, so the kids can, you know, have something like that. And we also give stuff to families in foster care also. There's some organizations around here. You know, like Dennis said, I'm pretty community minded. Before I go on, I'll just tell you one thing. Cindy says that I speak too much because I never find anybody I won't talk to. And I love being and learning about people. So they created a word for me. So if I talk too much, you ask any questions, my word is aardvark. So I spoke at a business meeting. They gave me 40 minutes and I said, ask any questions. And I wasn't looking at the time. All of a sudden this guy raised his hand and I said, do you have a question? He says, yeah. Is there an aardvark in here? So if I talk too long, just say aardvark or something. So, but anyway, you know, I do a lot of things. The mini marathon for the 500 festival, that's in May. This year was 45 years. I've been in charge of pack and pickup for 43 of its 45 years. Of course, Kiwanis, I'm on the board of Perry Seniors, and I just joined Make-A-Wish, and I'm a Make-A-Wish wish granter. And I'm about to get my first child for that. And I think that's going to be very rewarding because you start out with them when they're asking for a wish and you stay with them. And all the way to the end, it takes 7 to 9 months to get a wish granted. And when it is, I get to be there to grant the wish. So I think that's going to be a very moving experience. And I can't wait to do that. The other thing I do is about what I'm going to talk about is about 10 years ago, I joined an organization called Changing Footprints. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, all volunteer organization. And what we do is we collect anything that fits on people's feet in any condition, and we sort it out, clean it, and send it back out to the public, to people who need it. 80% of all the shoes that we get come from shoe drives. Churches, schools, hospitals, businesses, anybody who has shoes to donate can donate them. The other 20% all over Indianapolis, we have permanent drop-off sites, which are basically a 55-gallon trash can with shoes screwed to the top. People can just drop shoes in if they're not involved or know of a shoe drive. And our biggest year in 2019, we sent out 75,000 pairs of shoes. And last year, even with COVID, we sent out 55,000. And our goal is to keep 70 to 75% of all the shoes we collect within 50 to 100 miles of home. We have 5 sites. We were started out of Rushville. So Rushville and Greenfield, being their small towns, actually have storefronts so people can go in a couple days a week and pick out shoes. We had a volunteer who was on the west side and they moved to Fort Wayne and they opened up Changing Footprints sorting site there. And now that's up and running and they're actually moving to Angola. So they're going to open another one. And those places there work with small towns and the schools because the need, you know, is so great out in the country. We have 2 sites in Indianapolis, North Indianapolis, which is actually up almost in Carmel, 103rd and Meridian. And they've been around the longest and they concentrate more on larger places like Wheeler Mission, Salvation Army, and they have churches and places like that that have been with it for a long time. And every site that we have operates independently for the good of the organization, but you take care of what your community needs are. On the south side, we believe that there's as much or a bigger need than shoes. So shoes is our catalyst. And what we're doing is we're going out and looking for the churches and the missions and the pantries that have a need, and we're finding them. And along with other networking that we've done, we host, help host large giveaways. Our biggest one we did this year was our 4th year in Perry Township Schools, and the social workers vetted all the kids in school and the families that were desperately in need of help. And we had 5 nonprofits come together to provide. Changing Footprints did shoes. We found a sock manufacturer in Martinsville that gave 5 to 7 pairs of socks per person. Kids Coats of Hamilton County gave us coats. The 500 Festival, because I'm in charge of the packet pickup and the race didn't run last year, I got 22,000 mini marathon shirts to get rid of to anybody who wants them. Gleaners supplied us with food, and another organization called I Support the Girls, who works with female items, bras, leggings, and all kinds of feminine hygiene stuff, came in and gave us lots of stuff. And this year, because of COVID, what we had to do is people would pull up on one side of the building. Well, in fact, Southport gave us the field house to use this year because it grew so big. So what we did is they would pull up, fill out a form, drive around to the other side of the building. A runner would come in, and we had adult volunteers who were there who would go around with a 55-gallon trash can with a bag in it and fill everybody's needs, and then took it out. And some people, Gleaners gave us 20 pounds of fruit and produce and 20 pounds of non-perishable. So everybody got at least that much. And if there was 2-3 families, they got, 2 or 3 boxes in there. So, but we served almost 800 people in about 5 hours just doing it that way. So a great community service project. We had 7 people in the community businesses who donated $5,000, and we went out and bought hats, gloves, scarves, hoodies, and a bunch of other items that we needed to give away because we didn't have enough coats. So it's something we're going to continue doing every year. So what kind of shoes do we take? Well, we take everything from new to trash. We're a very green organization and recycle everything. And what we do with we get a lot of single shoes, which I can't figure out why, but there's either a lot of one-legged people in Indianapolis or a lot of happy dogs, because we get shoes that are really chewed up. And what we do is we have a relationship with Nike, and we send them to Nike Grind, and they shred them and send them for playgrounds. So that gets used. So the new stuff that we go through, we make sure that if it's a pair of something that you'd want, then it goes back on the feet of people who need them. If it's has somewhere in it, but not enough to go back to us, we give them to Good News Ministries, and they work with the homeless, and they have a retail store to help support their stuff that they have going on. And if the shoes that they can't sell them or they don't meet what they need, then they sell them to an exporter, and they get like 8 cents a pound for the shoes. So it helps support their mission. We get a lot of sandals, flip-flops, and Crocs and that kind of stuff. And we have a couple of groups that are taking almost 500 to 600 pairs of those type of items, and they're sending them at their expense to Haiti, which, desperately has a need for that. Shoes go all over the world. We sent shoes to 24 countries, several cities in Indiana, Arizona, just the south side, Arizona, Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And, we have a lot of churches, a lot of Lutheran churches that have missions, and they work with us, and they'll have shoe drives, and then we give them whatever they need. So everything we have, nothing gets wasted. But I like working with the organization because, I hate giving money because you have no idea how much of the money actually goes back to the people in need. But you know, when you give something like this, that it's going to go back and go on the feet of people who need it. So I will give shoes to anybody. If you guys have a need in Crawfordsville and you want 500-600 pairs of shoes, we'll give you shoes. Kids, adults, you know, whatever you want. And mini marathon shirts. If you have churches or missions or someplace like that that needs that kind of stuff, I mean, I have so many, and somebody's coming to Indianapolis or whatever and wants to pick some up for me, I'd be happy to give you everything that you need. Let's see, what else can I tell you about our organization? Like I said, we're all volunteer. We do have, of course, a board since we're a 501c3. All of our sites have property or rooms that have been donated to us, except my site. I looked for 8 years and couldn't find anything. So we had to pay for space. And our total budget before I opened up my sorting room for our whole organization was only $15,000. And now my sorting site is costing us almost 11. So we've had to go out and raise money to be able to, you know, buy everything that we need, the supplies and all that kind of stuff. So great organization, fun to work with, easy to do, and you make a big impact on the people who have a really need. And it's amazing. Shoes isn't something you really think about, but the need is unbelievable, especially kids in schools. So, you know, if that's something you guys wanted to do, to take on, to you find a pantry or something like that, and you know you want to do it, we'll absolutely help you guys, whatever you need. A couple of things. He said this day in history that he forgot was that in 1932, the U.S. hosted its first Winter Olympic Games. Does anybody know where it was? Any guesses? Lake Placid, New York. And also on this day, FDR, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin met to plan the final defeat of the occupation of Nazi Germany. And the last thing was in 2012, Florence Green, she was a British servicewoman, and she died on this date. She was the last surviving veteran of World War I. She died at 110 years old. So she had a very long life. Basically, that's it. That's everything I tell you about our organization. You know, I always do a lot of networking and get a lot of people who come to us. And because of what we're doing on the South Side, my friend Jack Williams and I are actually starting up another nonprofit, because Changing Footprints works strictly with shoes, but we believe there's as much or a bigger need for other items like food and that kind of stuff. So our organization, we're going to be the go-between between what we call the haves and the have-nots. And if people are looking for something, you know, there's so many businesses and places that will give things to you if you ask, but you have to be a nonprofit because they all want that tax deduction. But it's amazing how many places are out there that really will help support anything that you have going on. So with that, I don't know if I've taken up all my time. Nobody said aardvark, but if anybody has any questions, I'd go ahead and answer them for you.
Scott, I do have a question. On Facebook, I saw where it looked like you had new boxes of shoes, but it was through the high school. They were either collecting or distributing them. Did you work with the Key Club there, or how did that come about?
Well, yeah, our Key Club actually has been slow getting started. So what we did, you guys talked about backpacks. 2 weeks ago, I was a recipient of 2,000 backpacks from some church, and what we did, we packed 200. I have another man here in Indianapolis locally it's an organization called HRH, and it's called Helping Reentry Homeless. And he works with small groups like us who can't get things from Midwest and Gleaners, but want to help churches and pantries in need. And so what he does is we get all kinds of drinks and snacks from him. So we packed 200 backpacks with 2 drinks and 15 snacks. And we gave 100 away to 2 senior complexes, and the Key Club made out 100 cards for the seniors and put a card in each of the backpacks saying, hey, hope you're staying safe. You know, have a great winter or whatever. And we have a whole list of things that a lady in Changing Footprints came up with that the kids can put on their card that doesn't say anything about being sick or, you know, stuff like that. But it's a greeting, and the kids drew pictures on the cards and we put them in the backpacks, and these seniors were just overwhelmed with them. And then the other 100, what we're doing, we have a homeless initiative here called Under the Bridge, and they go out 365 days a year, every Sunday from 3 to 5 downtown Indianapolis. And they have a different church every Sunday who makes a hot meal for the homeless. And they have almost 100 homeless people every Sunday. So we're going down there on the 14th, and we're going to give away 100 backpacks plus shoes, men's boots and women's winter snow boots that we have for them down there. And I was a recipient of 27 mats that women have made for the homeless to lay on, and they're made out of grocery bags. And they also put in outdoor pillows with them, but they take the bags and basically they cut them into strips, tie them together, and then they crochet them, and they make these mats that the homeless can sleep on. Keeps them warm. The cold doesn't come up through the mat or the wetness. And so we're going to hand those out down there too. The shoe part, I was a recipient. We don't get a super big amount of new shoes. I was lucky enough to get 250 pair from an organization called Girls on the Run. And they disbanded what they were doing here in Indianapolis, and they had shoes made for younger kids up to size 6 who wanted to get into running. We do get a lot of new shoes, not a super amount, but we get a lot of runner shoes. I have some booths, free booth space at expos like the Mini and the Monumental Marathon, and runners wear their shoes and take them off after running with them one time. And you know, runners think their shoes are worn out, but they're the best shoes that you can probably get for people who don't have anything. So the quality of what we get is really good. And like I said, if they have a tear or anything on them, we won't send them back out. So, and we clean them and they look new.
What do you have to do to clean or sanitize them?
Well, to clean them, we actually use dollar store carpet cleaner. And the biggest part to clean, you know, of course, is around the bottom, the white part or gray part or whatever. And you just use a little steel brush in that carpet cleaner, and that stuff is unbelievable how those things come out perfectly white. Sanitize them, we use a concentrated sprayer that kills 99.9% of all the bacteria, and we spray the outside and the inside of the shoes, you know, if we can need them. Shoelaces, if they don't have shoelaces or they're nasty, we save ones out of the ones that we're sending to Nike and reuse the shoelaces when we, you know, got something that'll fit in them. So everything's clean and goes back out. So
Scott, how many, you know, you said your club is only about 23 people. How many of them are involved in your Changing Footprints organization, and where do you get all the other help? I mean, obviously there's a lot of man hours involved in this.
Well, right now with COVID, there's 4 of us, actually 5 on the south side. We go every Tuesday. It is amazing how much work 4 people can get done in 2 hours. Just sorting and separating and boxing things up. Normally what we do during the year when COVID doesn't hit, we have a lot of church groups and youth groups and people who want to come in and do community service. Beech Grove High School, Franklin Central High School, and of course Roncalli all have requirements that they have to do community service hours. So they're not coming in right now because of COVID. So 5 of us are doing it all ourselves. Kiwani's members, I only have 2 people who really come in and help me now because most everybody either works or 3 or 4 of the retired people don't want to come out. So there's 3 Kiwanis members. That includes, so there'd be like 7 people total, not all at once, but because we distance ourselves. But we get it all done. It's amazing how much those few people can do. And we're not doing anything too much locally because everything's been closed up. But we just got 2,800 pairs of shoes ready to go to Mesa, Arizona to the Lutheran Indian Ministries. And that's 5 pallets plus a pallet of mini marathon shirts. So we're sending a lot out to other places that are going to distribute them themselves.
How do you handle all the shipping?
Somebody else has to do that and take care of it. We don't really have the funds to do that kind of stuff. So the stuff to Arizona and the one we sent to Ocala, Florida, and the one to Arizona, we're partnering with an organization down in Jonesville, which is just south of Columbus. It's called Orphan Grain Train, and they do disaster relief all over the world. And so on tomorrow, we're taking our 6 pallets down to them. It's only 54 miles. I'm actually next door to a pantry called Servant's Heart of Indy, which this place is just boggles my mind and is simply amazing. This guy's been around 17 years and he's touched 24,000 individuals. And if you need something, he can find it, and he's got it because of his connections. But he volunteered. He and I are going to drive down in his truck and deliver the items down there. And then Orphan Grain Train is sending a 53-foot semi container down to Arizona at their expense. So, partnerships and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's amazing. And another thing, I'd like to be included in your guys's meeting every week for ideas for things to do, and also for speakers. And I can do the same for our club, but the only problem is you have to be an early bird because we meet at 7 o'clock on Thursday mornings. So, it's tough to get up at 7 when the sun isn't up if you're not used to it. But we do have some really good speakers lined up. So
I'll add you to our list, Scott. And
that'd be great.
If you would just send me your email address too.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I was a lieutenant governor for 2 years, and first year I wanted to do it, and the second year, you know how it is, they couldn't find anybody. And so my biggest pet peeve, and it is still this, is we don't toot our own horns enough. Right. We have in our club, we have a lady who works in public relations. She is amazing, and she hounds me for pictures every time we go out and do something. And it's like I'm her kid and I don't remember to send pictures, so she's got to remind me. But I don't think clubs do enough talking to other clubs in their area to find out what they're doing. And that's why I love this Zooming, because you can get on and get such great ideas. And I do a lot with Greenwood because we share things back and forth. And if we're having a golf outing, we had 3 people from Greenwood playing our golf outing last year. So, it's all to help each other. Sure. And they have programs every month. They do a different project. In January, they got Band-Aids for the Johnson County Health Department because of giving shots to kids. So we donated 800 Band-Aids to them. This month, what they're doing is they're saving, or in February, they're saving soup cans with pop tops because they have an organization called Kick It. It's Kids in Crisis Intervention Team. And they just took down almost 80 soup cans down there so that when kids come in that are homeless, they can pop a can and eat soup or franken beans or whatever. And now their March project is when you go out and you go to a restaurant and you carry out, you get all these packets of silverware and salt and pepper, and you go home and you never use them. They're saving all those things to go down to the kids like that who need it and save for homeless. So it's something that everybody can do. And then in April, they're making neck pillows for Riley. So they have great projects every month. So, you know, anything you guys can do, you know, I may show up sometime if you guys, when I find out about your projects and bring somebody with us, you never know. So it's always fun to meet people like you guys and learn about what you're doing, because we can all help each other.
That's right. Thanks.
I don't know whether you got me or not.
Yeah, Bud, go ahead.
First of all, I graduated from Southport back a long time ago, so I'm familiar with the South Side, and I'm proud to hear they're doing that. But let's suppose I had 50 pairs of shoes. Where would I take them, or how would I get them to you?
Well, if you know somebody who's coming to Indianapolis, they can drop them off at my house. I live in Greenwood. What I can do is I'll send you guys a copy of all the Southside drop-off sites. But, you know, I'm not adverse to driving to Crawfordsville. If you guys needed some shirts and or some shoes for some kids that might be in need or somebody there, and make an exchange, you know, I've got a pickup truck, so I'd be happy to do that. If you guys got together 1 week or 1 month and did a shoe collection, I'd be happy to bring, you know, trade shoes with you guys or give you mini marathon shirts or whatever. That'd be a project. It's a good club project. We did that, you know, for our club. So, and Greenwood has done that. They have an action club, and the action club did stuff. It's a great project for schools. A lot of schools, grade schools, what they do is, I had one class who did it, who challenged all the other classes in school to see who could bring in the most pairs of shoes. And what I did for the class that did it, I had a ice cream party for them at the end. And the class that brought in the most, I went to Walmart and got like a $20 or $25 gift card and awarded it to the teacher of the classroom that had the kids that brought in the most. And this was a school in Whiteland whose they had 75% of all the kids were below poverty level and free and reduced meals. And they had almost 800 pairs of shoes they collected in 3 weeks.
Wow.
So, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Do you own your property, or where do you get your property? If I was to want to set up a shoe thing here in Crawfordsville, how does that operate? Where do you get your space?
We find some place in the community that's willing to donate space to you. And I would work with you or whoever wants to do it and show you how we set things up. And every site, like I said, operates differently. It's something that's really, really easy to do. You know, if you guys or you thought you wanted to do it, I'd drive over to Crawfordsville to meet with you and share what we do with pictures and everything like that, paperwork of how we do it. And so it's pretty simple.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scott, just to clue you in there, Bud runs the local fish food pantry. It's been an organization we've had in our community for 50 years or more. They collect food from wherever, from Kroger and all this, and distribute it on a daily, weekly basis. And then there's another one that's like a clothes closet that we have. One of the churches houses any kind of clothing that some family might need. So we've got many things going on, but it's always neat to see somebody that's doing something so big. It's unbelievable.
Well, you had a problem with where our food pantry, we had to
Right.
move it from church A to church B.
Uh-huh.
And I spent a lot of time looking for buildings and locations. And FISH is made up of 4 missions: clothing, food, linens, and now I can't think of the 4th one. But anyway, and they're all located in churches, and the space is free. And I'm then trying to vision in my mind, having had experience trying to find a location,
Right.
how it would work. And I can't speak right now for anybody but Bud. So
yeah, you'd have to have space for sorting the shoes. We use 6-foot white tables, and then we have category boxes you put the shoes in, and then we keep everything in bags and until people request them by the sizes and type of shoe. Some places will our other sites will box them up, but we found out that a lot of the places, you gotta tape the box, you gotta box them up, you gotta label the box. If you put them in a bag, you can take them somewhere, dump them out, and it's a lot less time consuming. The other thing is, if you're doing clothes, the other thing we found, a couple places we found shoe racks, where the shoes sit on tiers, and you can put pairs of shoes on a wall. So, but I mean, there is no answer as to what's right. It's what fits your needs and what you have to work with. So, and I'd be happy to come over and, if you guys want to work with us or whatever, I'll do what I can to help you guys. That's what we're here for. And we do have a website. It's changingfootprints.org. And south side, we have a Facebook page. If you like us, it's just Changing Footprints South Indy. And that'll show you a little more about what we do. One thing we do, being we're next to the pantry, during the summer, we will go, when they give out food, they have drive-through, and everything's packed. People pull up their trunks and they load them up. And so across the parking lot where we're on the other side from them, they give away food furniture and clothes and that type of stuff. And we open up our doors next to them and set out tables on Saturday, and people can pick through shoes. And we're averaging about 100 pairs of shoes every Saturday we're giving away to people. So.
You said you take basically anything that fits on somebody's feet. So you take little kids all the way to adults? All the way to adults,
slippers, flip-flops, Crocs, sandals. The north side is saving slippers that are in good condition for a mission that goes to Russia. Also on the north side, they're working with kids in grade schools and middle schools who are in choir, who have to they dress up and they need black dress shoes, and also high school students that can't afford them. So they save the black dress shoes. 60% of everything we get are women's, and 60% of everything we need are men's and kids. And there's not as great of a need for dress shoes anymore, since people aren't working in the settings. Men's casual and men's dress shoes, we do send those to Good News. Women's high heel shoes, we have a couple of places that we give them to for proms. Of course, proms weren't held, so now we're giving a lot of those to Good News. We can't give them to homeless because they don't wear high heels, but everything, there's a need somewhere for it. So slippers, flip-flops, Crocs, sandals, dress shoes, water shoes, tennis shoes especially, work boots. We have a couple of re-entry programs where people come out of prison trying to get into the trade industry, and they have nothing, and they need boots to be able to get into that business. So we get a lot of those and give those to those guys. And also on the south side, we're working with a couple of churches who work with people down in Appalachia, down in Harlan County, Kentucky. And those people, we give a lot of boots to them because of them having to work down there because of how poor it is. We've sent 5,000 pairs of shoes to Texas and Haiti from the hurricanes. And, you know, a lot of disaster relief. We get requests for that type of stuff. So shoes go all over. There's always a need.
Fantastic. Very, 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 very interesting, Scott. We appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions?
So do you usually, I know you usually end your meeting with a lighter moment.
Right.
Okay, so if you want, I've got one that I used for our meeting this morning.
Fantastic.
Whenever you're done.
Go ahead. I think we're ready. I think the only thing I wanted to say before we close is that our next meeting is of course next Thursday, and we'll be celebrating our 100th anniversary. So tell all your friends and let's fill up this screen. I mean, we can take up to 200, 300 people on here. Let's fill it up. Okay, Scott, thank you.
Okay, well, now that I'm older, my goal for 2020 was to lose 10 pounds, and I only have 14 to go.
There you go. Great job.
A recent study has found women who carry a little extra weight live longer than men who mention it.
That's right.
Kids today don't know how easy they have it. When I was young, I had to walk 9 feet through shag carpet to change the TV channel. Remember back when we were kids and every time it was below 0 outside and they closed the school? Yeah, me neither. I may not be funny or athletic or good looking or smart or talented. Oh, wait, I forgot where I was going with this.
Yeah.
And last, I love aging. I learn something new every day and forget 5 other things.
Great.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Glad to be with you guys, and I'll be on every Thursday that I can, even when I'm in Florida. So
great. We appreciate it. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all, and we'll see you all next week. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.